going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 293. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E, sitting here on a Sunday, beautiful Austin, Texas, coming off a scoreless draw at Q2 Stadium against LAFC. Once again, synced up with our shirts here today. 2 pods in a row. I promise we are not texting each other about this beforehand. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm good, man. We're out there at the parking lot before the game last night. See their lineup. Start feeling really bad,
Yeah.
So getting to this point here with a point in hand feels really good, and I feel good right now. I'm excited to talk about this game. Excited to get into it. I know that we had a great time. Had our buddy AG there. Happy birthday, AG! What a weekend it was with him. Quite a good time doing all that party stuff and everything. But I'm great, man. That was a fun game.
Yeah. Well, just to close out on the AG talk, man, like the Friday Egos trip, AG on the stage is something else. It was awesome.
There should be a cover when he goes in. You got $5. That's it. Yeah. Nothing too crazy. $5 to get in. You see AG 2 times. Can't do 3 times though. You're too close together.
Yeah. Well, if you're a DP member of the North End, you get in for free. So
there we go. Oh shit.
So we will recap last night's draw against LAFC, talk a couple pieces of news, of course. Before we get into the rest of episode 293, just want to remind you all listening or watching on the YouTube channel that you can support the show financially for free just by downloading the audio versions wherever you get your podcasts. So you toggle on auto downloads. That'll support us in that fashion going forward. You won't have to think about it again. Rate and review the show if you want to go that extra mile. And if you are watching us on the YouTube, hit the subscribe button. That does help us grow the show. You can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. Of course, here on episode 293, hit the thumbs up, like the video. Help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords. Atone for your sins. Wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. And E, of course, if you want to completely dive headfirst into being a sicko here in the North End, you can join our Patreon. That'll get you access to North End merch, best ball when that time of the year comes around, giveaways, the Discord access where we get all our listener questions, all that and more. And just some special shout outs, E, this morning. Number 1 to our buddy Keith, who we got to see at halftime. Thanks for hooking us up with one of those giveaway hats, because obviously we were not in there early enough to get one ourselves. So that was super cool. Awesome to see Keith. And also shout out to Andrew, man, who is one of our new Patreon members here, who we got to meet after the game last night and kind of hang out a little bit, right? And I just think it's so cool to like not only find listeners of the show, of course, but like then hear the stories of their fandom. And like, I hope Andrew's okay with me sharing this. Like when he comes to games, he drives back and forth from Dallas.
Insane.
So like my first question to him last night was like, well, why Austin then? Like if you're up there in Dallas, and he just kind of looked at me like, what do you think? I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But dude, I mean, that's dedication, Holmes.
Yeah.
And great to meet Andrew last night.
Yeah, dude, as 2 people who do the drive to Dallas once a year, we never want to do that drive back home.
Yeah, we just stay at our buddy's house because it just sucks coming back.
Yeah, it's brutal. So shout out to that. Great to meet both those dudes, man. Thanks for the support.
Yeah, so you can join the Patreon. Link to sign up is in the description of this episode. Or if you're watching on the YouTube, that QR code is on the screen right now. So, E, let's talk about some of the news of the week. And before we dive fully into our Austin FC news, let's talk some MLS news, because the league did release, or have a press release, rather, with further information about the upcoming sprint season, right? This is the shortened season that will happen in spring 2027 that will help us bridge the old schedule, right, which we are on now, which is season goes from February to October, right? A little bit longer this year because of the World Cup, but then we are going to go to a summer-spring calendar where the new MLS seasons will begin in July of each year, take a winter break similar to the offseason that we already have, and then finish the season starting back up in February through May. So, right, aligning the league with that global soccer calendar all the big leagues kind of get in the same transfer windows and all of that aligning around the world. So some of the, I guess, bullet points from this sprint season release, all teams will play 14 regular season games, and they will all be interconference games. So you play each Western Conference team next spring one time. We'll have 7 home games and 7 road matches. Playoff format is already released for this. No wild card, just the top 8 teams from each conference, and doing away with the best of 3 in the sprint season. So top 8 teams, knockout tournament to crown an MLS Cup champion at the end of May. We will also determine 5 CONCACAF Champions Cup berths for 2028. Those will be determined by the sprint season results, as well as the 18 teams, top 9 from each conference, that will qualify for the 2028 Leagues Cup. So this is going to be something that I think throughout our continued fandom here of Austin and MLS, this is going to be, I would think, a very one-time unique experience, this 14-game sprint season.
Yeah, absolutely. We like the idea when MLS came out with this and getting lined up with the rest of the world and everything. And this is just going to be the little bridge here. And I think it's going to be fun. You know what I mean? It's going to, like you said, it's going to be different. We'll see how it plays out. There'll still be a lot of chatter about whoever wins that year and how fake that championship is.
Yeah. It's everybody there's going to be 29 teams to put an asterisk on it, and one team that puts that fucking star on it and says, fuck you.
Yeah, guaranteed. And I wouldn't mind being it.
Yeah, dude, there's never been a better time for us to have a 14+4 game stretch of our best soccer ever here in Austin. And it's just like, I am excited for the differences in like how much more weight each result carries with just a 14-game season compared to 34. Like fewer games than an NFL season. It'll be interesting. We'll just leave it at that for now. Anything else for you on that?
No.
Well, we did get a pair of additional international call-ups heading into this week's FIFA international window. So we will start with our U.S. Youth National Team boy here, Irvin Torres, getting the call-up to the U.S. U19 team here. I believe they are going over to Wales for a friendly or 2, if I'm not mistaken. And I think, again, like, this is the team, the U19s, that, like, a guy like Kevin Sullivan is getting called up to this window. So for Irvin to be on this roster, again, just shows you, I think, how important he is to the future of Austin FC, or the prospect of what he could be for Austin FC, both on the field for us, and then potentially if he's able to get to the level where teams from abroad are calling about his services, right? Moving Irvin on in his career while also being able to turn that roster spot into some GAM, as we are waiting to do with an Owen Wolf, maybe a Danny Pereira down the road. Like, that's where I see this all culminating, years down the road. So this is just another step in Irvin's development and the recognition of that development by the U.S. Youth National Team.
Super happy for him. It must be awesome to represent your country like this. And like you said, this is all part of the plan, the pathway here. He's got to get these reps in, and that's just awesome to see. I'm super happy for him.
Yeah, and again, these stamps, like, dude, the team could put these in the Verde store, and I would buy these stamps, I think, as just like Austin FC collector's items, because we get another call up. This was just before the match on Saturday. It is Mirtu Izuni getting that call up to the Albanian national team. Again, happy to see this for him to get the chance to go play in that semifinal against Poland. I believe this coming Thursday, and then you hope that Ukraine upsets Sweden, the Albanians do the same to Poland, and you get the Izuni versus Fatak matchup for the right to go to the World Cup. Again, like one of the most dramatic potential Austin FC events that doesn't actually have to do with our team playing on the field. Fingers crossed, man. If even one of those guys can advance to that win and get in scenario, obviously we would love both, but even if one of them is playing next Tuesday for the right to go to the World Cup, I'll be on the edge of my seat for that one that afternoon, man. Absolutely.
And to see those two dudes match up would be so cool.
I know.
Particularly because they'd be, matched up with each other. They'd be right next to each other. Hopefully Svatak wouldn't foul him too hard. But happy for Mirtu. We know we were wondering about this situation. Obviously, frustrations with his play here in Austin. Albania didn't see it that way too much. So I'm happy for Mirtu, man. And I think this is going to be a pretty heavy Mirtu episode, and there's going to be a lot of talk about him. Some good stuff, some bad stuff for sure. But all that aside, happy for Mirtu. I hope it goes well out there and stay healthy.
Yeah, man, right as those words were coming out of your mouth about Spot Talk, I was thinking, take it easy on him, bro. Like, no injuries to each other, like friendly fire on the international stage would just be just our luck here, the way the injuries have gone in 2026. But anything else for you on any of that?
No.
All right, so coming into the weekend, we got the Friday call-up, not unexpected here. Austin FC got that second short-term loan agreement for Jorge Alistue. So he was available for selection and active on the bench last night against LAFC. But the big news, and I think potentially why he was called up again here, was the Thursday media availability news that Jaden Nelson is dealing with potentially a nerve issue in his back. I know Coach kind of clarified some things after the match. It sounds like this is back spasms to me, and like maybe connected to that hamstring tightness that he's been experiencing. But ultimately, when Coach was like, "Yeah, he's experiencing this," and like we'll decide tomorrow, that really seemed like, yeah, well, he's gonna sit this one out. So Jorge gets the call up. No Jaden Nelson. No Robert Taylor. Again, of course, still sidelined with Danny Owen and Brandon Vasquez. So lineup comes out. I mean, I saw multiple. I think the first person I saw multiple fans kind of pitching this alignment right here, this formation with the starting unit, putting Christian Ramirez in there alongside Mirtu Izuni. So back to front, you had Stuver, then left to right, John Bell in there for Guilherme Biru as a talking point on Wednesday's preview episode. Pairing of Heinzike and Svatak there in the middle with John Gallagher. So no Mikel Dessler start. He was still benchler yesterday. But then Rosales on the left, Ilie, Duber, Facu out there on the right. And it was kind of Mirtu Izuni dropping in behind Christian Ramirez. Like, this is like, again, he wasn't playing as like an out and out 10 chance creator distributor, but it was like pseudo 10-ish and like playing that kind of second striker role, dropping in. Like, I can say this as a kind of a blanket statement off top, because we'll get into the details of some miscues and a lot of awesome play by Izuni last night, at least to my eye. But what happened last night between him and Christian Ramirez gives me a lot of hope for him and Brandon Vasquez. And it also confuses me onto why we didn't see hardly any games where Brandon Vasquez and Mirtu Izuni looked as fluid and as on the same page, right? Like as Christian Ramirez and Mirtu Izuni did last night. I thought both of those guys played their roles very well. And maybe it's because Ramirez is at a different stage of his career compared to Brandon. But this like it reignited the spark that I have for like, okay, can we make this work? Because if Mirtu plays the way he did last night in that type of position, I think you can. And then I think your big challenge is, how do you fit Owen Wolf in here, right? Yeah. Like, where does he play? Is it Rosales dropping back? Is it Owen? I'm very much talking overall type of perspectives here now, but I think that's the kind of the talk of the night for me in terms of the lineup, is sliding Ramirez up in there and how good it looked.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'll jump back to Jaden just real quick. Okay. Not sounding any alarms here, but obviously this is not great. Just adding to the mounting pile of injuries that we have here. And like you said, some nerve damage could be potentially affecting that hamstring. And that concerns me for sure. And all the chatter that has been surrounding Mirtu, we haven't done him a ton of favors in the way that we've played him for the majority of the season here. But in this matchup, like you said, this looked much more natural for him and it got him involved more. And like, he's a dude, he wants the ball at his foot. He's got to get involved to feel part of the game and everything. I thought you saw that pretty early, that he was getting involved and pretty active. And I think that led to some of the, effort plays that we saw later on, because he was engaged in this matchup all the way, and some of the dangerous chances that he created and was on the end of there. This did look good. And like we talked about with RSL, my disdain for that lineup, seeing this one, I think you got this one right. I really like this lineup. I loved the shape that we were taking offensively, which we'll get into. It was an aggressive start to this game for Austin, and I loved that because, like we talked about, we saw their lineup. They didn't rotate anything.
No,
they did not rotate a single, and I was shocked because I definitely anticipated some rotation. We're doing some subterfuge at your house, after the game last night, watching some LAFC podcasts, and they were talking about, the schedule and how that played such a large role in this, what they declared a 0-0 loss, which thank you very much. So I was shocked.
Our extra 2 points?
I was shocked to see that they didn't rotate, and you went out there and you met them. You met them and you played them tough, and I thought I think this is the best result of the season thus far.
Yeah, and I think talking more about Mir too, because again, we're going to get into the plays themselves, but more just from the overall standpoint, it makes sense that the guy, right, who we think is not 5'10", as he is listed, right? Sorry, saying that while you're drinking water over there. But him being able to drop in above the back line and then create from there again, I haven't seen him be as fleet of foot as I thought he was last night when he was on the ball. Typically if he takes more than 2 dribbles, it was like me trying to dribble a basketball at the college level. We're in trouble.
Trying to get rid of it.
And it was not that last night. And I thought the confidence grew throughout the game. And I guess it's something that we should mention because it was a talking point among the sickos in the fan base this week that Mirtu Izuni, again, deactivated his social media accounts this week. Good. And shit, man, look, whatever you got to do, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. And if you are you shouldn't be listening to us anyways. Yeah. But if you are, shut it off, man. And dude, when he did that last year, it was 3 goals in his next 5 games plus an assist or something. And I know he doesn't get on in the box score last night with the counting stats, but it was the performance overall. And dude, you go I think you can go to some different outlets or group chats, Reddit threads, right? And there's going to be even higher praise for Mirtu than we're going to give him on this episode.
Yeah, no. And it all started with him getting active, getting the ball at his foot, being fully engaged in this game. And again, we're talking about the limitations of this team, right? And how it has impacted Mirtu because we've understood what he is good at and what he's not good at. And he's good at making runs. He's good at being sneaky in the box. He's good at that stuff. He's not very great in his hold-up play. And when you have 2 midfielders like Ilya and Duber trying to get him the ball as he's dropping back behind Christian Ramirez, they're just not feeding him quality balls all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. The stuff was coming from him, from Facu and Joe. And we're getting the ball that way. So I was proud of Mirtu last night for sure. I'm going to have some pretty harsh critiques of a couple things, but I was proud of the way that he played. And I think that he really embodied the way that the entire team played last night, was that we weren't afraid of the moment. We knew that they had their players out there and we were still going to go ahead and give this our best shot. And I thought that we played a good, solid 90 minutes of soccer last night.
Yeah, I'm with you. So let's pick this one up in the 4th minute and maybe talk about a perceived negative for us and the number 10. Last night. I did note at the start, right, we were kind of trying to figure out, of course, after what happened last week, formationally on both sides of the ball, right? In possession, looked 4-4-2-ish, right, with Izuni drop it in underneath Ramirez, but I also think predominantly, as I got to watch the replay this morning from the broadcast angle, I think more of a 3-4-3 in possession. Mm-hmm. And again, either way, thought the team was set up well, and I think it also has to do a lot with Joseph Rosales being on the left, man. He just again, he did not look like the kind of superhuman that I have perceived him to be on the left the first 2 times he's been over there, but dude, just continuing to ooze confidence throughout this match. And so in this, go ahead. Sorry.
It also gave a lot of flexibility to him and Facu to kind of move around this formation. We saw Facu tracking over to the right plenty of times. Joe interchangeable, and when he gets the ball at his foot a little bit, it gives us a little reprieve because he's one of the guys who can really just have it at his foot and just be dribbling around, and it's not getting taken off of him.
Yeah, and I did think when he did cut inside at times or float inside, either way, it did appear if you're thinking a 4-back at any point, right, with John Bell on the left, goddamn, both Johns, John Gallagher on the right, it did seem to me like more frequently Gally was the reins were kind of taken off where he was allowed to flow forward and make some of those overlapping runs over Faku over there on the right side, where John Bell was a little bit more restrained compared to how we saw him combining with Jaden against RSL, especially in that first half.
Yeah.
Where like we didn't see a ton of those combinations between John Bell and Joseph Rosales last night. And I imagine it had to do with like, hey, John, we need you to stay home a little bit more because of the counterattack threat on the other side.
They did a good job at that, and Johnny G, having to cover a lot of ground and everything. But a dude who's really been up for this matchup versus Bouanga, got to give him credit where it's due. He's really been up for that matchup, and he's played him very, very tough every time we've seen him. I loved the way that we came out and approached this game. So hats off to Nico and the staff. A huge change, particularly in mentality from the RSL game.
Yeah. Well, so we're still in the 4th minute here, as I said, where Austin kind of settling into possession early on, and in this moment work it left to right around the back, just inside that LAFC half. And quick combination on the right side. John Gallagher has a sliver of daylight and is able to deliver across on a platter for Mirtu, who is snuck in behind the 2 LAFC center backs, and he like clears it.
Yeah.
Like can't put it on frame, out for a goal kick. And like I said it in the moment, and I know as the game went on, we were like, man, good play by Mirtu. But like I kept bringing it back myself to like, well, he should have at least put that one on frame. So like he's got to do better right there. But throughout the rest of the night, again, he like keeps kind of like continuing to make up for it. The more I watch back, the more I thought about watching it live. But this was, again, like it's a wild start to a match that ended up so positive in most people's minds for Uzuni. This is just bad though, man. Like you have to put this on frame. I know it's a tough play, but like in the role that he's in, you have to do better.
I know, and that's why I'm going to have positive things to say about him and his performance last night, but still it's like we're talking with Fudge a little bit about this and talking, Fudge is, praising his effort and his trackbacks on defense and how engaged and everything. It's like, yeah, dude, like good. You know what I mean? Like that's great.
John Gallagher does that.
Yeah. But you're the guy that we're paying $12 million to score these types of difficult goals, or at least put them on frame and make Lloris work. Yeah. Right. And this was a fantastic ball that hits him right on the foot.
How many times are we getting that ball out of Gallagher?
I know. Yeah, exactly. I know it's
like
perfect ball.
Yeah. I mean,
and
you got to convert.
I'm looking at it right now. It's, it's a 0.31 XG attempt, and then you get 0 on target because he fucking blasted into the stand.
It got closer to the moon than the goal.
Yeah, I know. So this again, it's funny because like he kind of reiterated the positive things that we've been able to say about him, where it's just like, yeah, the activity level is good. The engagement's good. That's all good. We need this side, the goal side, to win games.
Yeah. And first impressions are everything. And that was our first impression of Uzuni in this match. So it was hard to shake watching it live.
Correct.
So 6th minute here, LAFC able to break lines down the right with Martinez, who again is as dangerous as ever on the run. He sheds Ilie there and drives centrally before playing a pass kind of towards Bouanga, who's nearly in on Stuver, but Gallagher got there simultaneously and kind of just little shoulder bump there on Denny. And the ball just kind of squirts out for a goal kick. And I don't know, E, if you picked this up on the broadcast rewatch here today, but Stuver, gave John a big old pat on the back there. And Max Bretos, who was on the call, does Borat voice and goes, high five. And I forget who's on the call with him as his color commentator, but dude, just silence.
Nice.
14th minute, Stuver boots this one long after Austin played possession kind of all the way back, trying to stretch LAFC out of this lower block that they were sitting in the opening moments of this game. And that clearance kind of deflects off the chest of Christian Ramirez, but bounces into the path of Mirtu Uzuni. And all of a sudden, Austin's driving forward with a 4-on-4 break. And Mirtu, again, just driving straight forward. Nobody picks him up. So he has a hit from 20 yards out, and Nkosi Tafari baited him into this, not picking up. And as soon as he sees him drop his head to take the shot, Tafari just steps in. Easy block for him. And I know, again, and possibly because we were still 10 minutes removed from the first missed chance, that both of us threw our hands up like, of course, he just shoots that right into Tafari.
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic defender for sure. I'm glad he uncorked one, to be honest, because I'm not sure if he kept dribbling that, if he wasn't just going to get dispossessed by Tafari or someone else in that situation. But yeah, this is, and even if it doesn't get blocked, I don't think Lloris has any issue with this ball.
Sure. Jump ahead 10 minutes to the 24th, where to this point, man, Austin's been dominating possession, like hovering around 70% through the first 25-ish minutes. But in this moment, LAFC breaking quickly through the midfield as Mark Delgado splits two defenders, then gets it out to Palencia on the right, who slips Martinez in behind John Bell. John's able to win this tackle and the ball back near the end line, turns, looks up, and literally passes it to Son 10 yards from net. And he bangs it towards goal, and I didn't see this live, but, dude, he hits BHI right in the gut.
Yep.
So we get our BHI hit for the game. Like, what body part? It's like operation, dude. How many body parts do we have left? And goes out for a corner. Austin's able to clear that corner out, but goddamn, man. And I think John Bell played a good game.
I know.
But this pass is probably top 3 worst. And, like, you can't put it on top of when Kip Keller died. But, like, whew. And we gave the ball to Son 3 times on the night. And this was by far the most dangerous one.
We had multiple people trying their best to elate the fans of Son in the stadium last night.
You want to get an assist on your record for Heung-min Son? Like, I get it. But like, another time, man.
I mean, this is just diabolical. You know what I mean? Like, this is just mind-blowingly insane that this just takes place.
Wants it back, of course.
Yeah. And you know, we talked about John Bell again, where, you know, we're sitting there chatting about him. It's like, yeah, he's played it good. But he did have one of the worst passes of all fucking time in this game. So we can't give you a 3 on the old game score. You gotta have to drop you to a 2, man, because good Lord. Stuver was chatting everybody up last night.
Oh yeah.
Everyone. He got
was
Johnny,
fiery,
he got John Bell, he got BHI there. Obviously a little love to spot talk, man. But good Lord, dude. You know, like in a mistake like that. I think a mistake like that takes this game and you lose 3-0. You know what I mean? Like that just takes all the energy out of the stadium and you just get trounced. So you got fucking really lucky here that this wasn't a goal.
26th minute, you get the first yellow card of the match to Tim Tillman for kicking out at Facu Torres while he was on the ground. No argument there, and just kind of the honorary Tillman yellow. When we play against LAFC, it happens every time. Luckily, it wasn't as dirty as some of his shots have been, you know, like against Brad Stuver last year. So 29th minute, good guys win a throw, set up for the long toss here, near side to the broadcast camera. And it's Joseph Rosales hucking it into the mixer, and Chouanier nods it towards the top of the box, where Facu Torres heads it back towards net, and Heinz Eyck is all alone in front of net, dude. And like, he was well offside either way, but he just biffs this one, dude. I think he hit it with his hip.
Yeah, he almost knocked his hip out of place, turning around like that, trying to kick and missed the whole ball. But yeah, he was way offside.
Yeah. 33rd minute, long diagonal here from Heinz Eyck, all the way to Ramirez, who's running at the corner of the box on the right side down there in the north end. And we may have had the best view of this in the stadium because there was you cannot see it very well on the broadcast, but I thought the fucking linesman should have seen this. He gets tugged by his jersey and falls down and like maybe sold it a little, but like, dude, when you pull the jersey like that, like it's a foul. So like we were not happy about that in the north end. It's a foul. I guess I just wanted to note that we saw it.
It's a foul. Like, you know what I mean? He's pulling
and
his
for how
jersey.
dangerous we've been on set pieces, like that's important right there.
It would have been huge for us. And that would have been probably the most dangerous location we've had one all year.
Because it's on that right corner of the box. You put Facu over it with that left dude, and then they're having to worry about every outcome or every decision that Facu could make and not just coming in off a corner.
It's a shit missed call. It was a bad missed call.
Well, get ready, because here in the 40th minute, dude, LAFC able to turn Austin over as they try to play out of the back. It was kind of following a Sun free kick that missed the target that had everybody in the stadium clinched right from about 22 yards out. So it's John Bell getting the ball taken off him by Martinez. LAFC turns. Martinez plays Tillman into a ton of space on the right side of the box. And because of the gravity of Sun drifting centrally away from Tillman here, Tillman gets all that space, and he's able to fizz the ball across the face of net that skips off of Denny Buonga's head near the back post and out. And one of the more lucky bounces that Austin gets on the night, because more often than not, dude, that is a goal for Denny Buonga. Really a escaped one right there.
That was a very, very dangerous chance. A great ball that had a lot of pace on it, and you got fortunate.
So on that restart here, Eddie Segura goes studs up into Nico Dubersarski. And the Austin players immediately surround head official Rubiel Vasquez, and VAR room checks it in Arlington and does not recommend a review. And I'm sorry to be yelling into your ears once again, but like, if it just keeps happening, I'm going to yell. I am enraged this morning watching this back because I actually did not see this happen live. I think I was saying some bullshit to you, probably about the Sun free kick that just went over the goal. But like, let's watch this here real quick, E. Because this is a fucking red card.
Yeah, what are we
doing?
What are we doing? This is
Segura
madness.
Comes in, stomps him, dude. Stomps him.
Stop. And immediately you see Facu.
Yeah.
Immediately these dudes know. This is a red card. And particularly the fact that this same fucking call has happened to both of these teams this year. And one team benefited from it, and the other team got completely fucking screwed by it. And now this happens again, and we don't get this call. This is more egregious than the Biru foul to me.
Yep.
Because he comes in with
He
comes in with force. He's clearly coming down to stomp on Duber's fucking foot here, man. Whereas the Biru situation, the dude falls down in front of him, his legs get all messed up, and then he steps on him. And the fact that this, like we saw outcry about the Biru stuff from the national media about getting him out of there. Nothing about this. This is a red card. Multiple people texted us in the stadium immediately.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a red. Oh my God, that's a fucking red. This better be a red card. And the fact that we don't even go to the monitor, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? If we're calling it, let's call it. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I disagree with the Biru call. I disagreed with the call. Who was that on Houston? Was it?
Antonio Carlos, I think, is the one that came and got a piece of sun.
Okay.
First one.
Yeah. Irrelevant, but whatever. On the sun play, to have that shit happen, man. And for both of those to be reds. Okay. There's the standard. There it is. What happened here? Tell me why this isn't a red.
Yeah. And the fact I thought it was
fucking stupid. You've seen that YouTube little channel they got going now where they explain all the calls and shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Can't wait to listen to that.
Yeah. And I thought it was a great point by you that both teams have faced a call like this, and LAFC got the call. The call went against Austin the first time, and then LAFC gets the call here by keeping Eddie Segura on the field. This is and I'm very interested to see. I don't have high hopes, but the MLS sanctioned instant replay segment with Andrew Wiebe, I went back and listened to what he said about the Biru foul. And so we better hear Andrew Wiebe saying that this should be a red, because if intent, right, we're talking about, where's he supposed to put his foot? Yeah. He said intent is not considered on the Biru review. So what is going on here? That's a fucking red if we have any ounce of consistency. And Duber stands up, pulls his shin guard down, and shows the slash marks on his fucking leg. That is a red. And dude, I don't want all of these games to have all these ejections or sending offs. Same. There you go, long. So if all of these were yellows, I'm fine. But these are all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. I just hypocritical, and the inconsistency is mind-boggling. And the whole game changed. You see what happens when there's a team loses a man, sent off, whatever you want to fucking walked off, however.
Yeah.
You know,
apparently ejection is basketball coded.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've been told.
And again, I'm not a big conspiracy giant, all LA teams, blah, 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 getting into all that. But the fact that they've gotten this twice now for them in this short of a season thus far, and it's gone wrong for us twice.
Both happen to be in their favor.
Exactly.
Inconsistent that both happen to be in their favor. Come on, man. You're not making it easy on us to not jump into the LA gets all the calls.
Yeah, absolutely. And outside of this, right, I think there's a couple other spots with this referee and crew that I didn't think was great. But this is just a game altering play that has been
Yep.
called the same way this season from everything that we've seen.
Yep.
And then it just doesn't get called this way this time. And you had the review on it. So
Yep.
Fuck me. I don't know what it is then. I don't know what the call is. And if I'm Nico after the game, I'm pissed about that because he was pissed about the Biru thing. But this is the same exact play, dude. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. And again, like you said, how it changes the game and like would neuter their counterattack. Like we can be more aggressive if they go down a man, right? Really the only other thing that happens here in the first half, man, is second minute rather of stoppage. Yellow card to John Bell, pulling back Martinez on the break. I think both of us said 2 seconds before he did it, foul him.
Yeah.
Like dangerous counterattack looming there. So, but yeah, man, it's just like it. Again, I was not as upset about it last night because I did not see it and I did not see the replays. Seeing it this morning, I'm upset if you can't tell.
Yeah, well, people texted you and let you knew that you were going to be upset, so at least you were warned.
Oh. So coming out of the half here, no changes for either team, so we'll pick it up in the 50th minute. Austin turns it over here in this moment at midfield. Son jars the ball loose here from Ilya. It wasn't one of those, here you go, Sonny. He actually won this ball, and Mark Delgado pounced on the loose one and immediately plays Bouanga through down the left. He's in behind Gallagher and ahead of Alexander Svatok. Denny Bouanga takes one touch here, pulls a left-footed shot back across his body that goes just wide. I think we are very lucky that Bouanga's single touch there carried it just inches further in terms of the angle that he could have for the shot on net. Really could only take that with his left foot and just got to be a little bit too tight there. Stuver had it well covered, but like Bouanga on his left there, we know can just do so much damage from crazier angles maybe. So again, pretty lucky there that Bouanga again misses a chance that we see him convert probably more often than not.
Yeah, this was a tight butthole moment for sure. Anytime he's bearing down on your defense or Stuver is one of the scarier things that this league has to offer here. You did, Stuver right position, but if Bouanga puts this to the far post, Stuver's you're not going to be able to do anything with it. Yeah. And this just kind of highlights and shows exactly what makes this LAFC team so dangerous and just so potent on the counterattack, because this is boop, boop, one ball, and you're in on the keeper. And I thought for the most part, you mitigated that. You can't stop them from getting an opportunity like this for a full 90 minutes. It's going to happen just by the way that they play. And they were playing that style, I think, even more aggressively than they have thus far this season, particularly in the first half. And we saw those possession numbers so skewed 70-30 for a large portion of that first half. This was a nervy moment for sure.
The 51st minute, you get a yellow card to the Austin bench. I think it was Nico Bosch, which I think would make it his second yellow in as many games. I don't know if there's like accumulation there or not.
I'd imagine.
But certainly some spicy stuff going on there on the Austin bench. I think it was Ishmael Elfath, who's the fourth official last night. And like, I know I told you, I was like, what? Why is he on the sideline? Get Ish out there in the field. And you're like, dude, come on. He's waiting for the World Cup.
Yeah, he's chilling.
This guy's not trying to deal with Austin FC. And man, something was said over there. He called the head official over, showed the yellow card to the bench. Something to keep an eye on there. Maybe we're down an assistant coach in Miami. I'm not sure.
I mean, there's got to be some sort of ramifications for that. You start racking them up here,
Might be a fine. I don't know,
and I think jumping back to the first half a little bit here, you started to see Austin get a little bit gassed. You know what I mean? We saw some guys getting a little tired that didn't look as crisp, and I think it carried over a little bit to start this second half. But this Bouanga attempt woke you up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no question. So jumping ahead here, 62nd minute, it's Austin, again, settling into possession in the LAFC half and working it on the right side, and eventually get a Christian Ramirez flick on. Brief shouts for a handball there from both Gallagher and Ramirez. But the ball kind of trickles into the path of John Gallagher. Official plays advantage, and Gally's able to chase that ball down on the right edge of the 18. He tries a cross as he gets to the end line that's cleared out for a corner by Tafari. So Faku lines up, hits this corner towards the top of the 18 where, dude, Mirtu Azuni crashes the box and I think hits this off the half volley watching the replay and into the net, man. And place goes bonkers. I know we got a Teddy confetti throw, a Lizzie confetti throw. We got some confetti on the field. So I need a ruling from you because VAR reviews this goal. And I think that Ilie is offside barely in this instance. And he's certainly right in the way of Hugo Lloris and does affect the play. But it is very, very close. And I have seen some fans since the match ended last night in various places making the case that there really is no definitive angle to tell you that he is offside, and those fans making the case that the original call of goal should have stood because there is no definitive angle shown, right? We have an angle of it that it's from an angle, right? It's similar to like the Rigoni goal or the Atlanta potential offside from last season, where like the angle that the VAR has is not straight down the line. So like at some point you're guessing a little bit. So this goal is called back. And again, like I'm nowhere near as upset about this call compared to the non-red, where we had plenty of angles to show that should have been a sending off. And I also don't want it to get lost in my bitching about this, that was a fantastic shot by Mirtzu.
Awesome. Fantastic. I mean, probably his best attempt since he's arrived here. This is off the volley, got some pace to it, puts it in a super, super dangerous spot.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on Ilie. I don't, is there a definitive angle that you feel like you can overturn this like 100% and feel like really confident about it? I don't know. He is in Lloris's way. He clearly impacts this by having to lift his leg up to get out of the way, basically.
He's part of the play for sure.
So he's in the play in this situation. Just a really tough break for Austin here because we didn't need him to score that goal. It wasn't like Lloris didn't get to that because of Ilie. He didn't get to that because it was a great shot. Yeah. It was low and had a ton of pace on it.
Yeah. No.
And again, dangerous in set pieces. Dangerous in set pieces.
Yep.
It's been a really good aspect of Austin's game so far this season.
We need Coach Bosch to not get suspended, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Over there calling the plays out. 65th minute. So after the review, there is a yellow card shown to Mirtu Asuni for talking shit to Rubio Vasquez during the review, it appeared. 70th minute, we get our first subs of the match. Double change for Austin. Guilherme Biru makes his return, and Besard Sabovic comes in. Those guys replace John Bell and Ilie Sanchez. 3 minutes later, LAFC has some subs of their own. Boudry and Boyd come in for Martinez and Tillman. 3 minutes later, in the 76th, Austin able to corral a wayward LAFC clearance just inside the LAFC half with John Gallagher, who's on the run. He's got one outlet in Facu Torres and uses it, and Facu puts it on his left foot. He has a crack from 25 yards out that's once again blocked by Tafare out for a corner. And on that corner, LAFC is able to break a counterattack with Boudry and Son on the run. You've got Joseph Rosales and Mirtu Azuni in pursuit. Credit to Joe Rosales here, man. I thought he did great to force Son to stop and turn. And then Azuni comes from behind and wins the ball right back. So credit to both of those guys, but it was the first of many efforts by not just Austin as a team, but Mirtu Azuni individually that continued to impress me more and more, not just live in the stadium as this game is, coming towards the final whistle. I'm like, man, Mirtu's playing pretty well. And then you see it on the rewatch this morning, man, and his stamina in this game, especially watching some of the other Austin guys who are working their ass off too, start to cramp up and everything. Like, he had no off switch last night. It was, if he plays like this every game, like we're probably going to be okay with having Mirtu Azuni on our team. Yeah,
you feel good about it. I'm glad you pointed out Rosales here because I know that Mirtu got the bulk of the credit for this track back, but it doesn't happen unless Rosales slows Son down and makes him turn a little bit. And that's not to take away from Mirtu's effort here and anything like that, but Rosales did initiate the opportunity to take the ball off of Son and dispossess him. And yeah, man, this is a great effort. And like we talked about this team, they wanted bunker, hit you on the counter. This was one of those situations that was presenting itself. And when you find yourself in that moment where you're playing this team, it's like, yeah, you got two of the best players in the league bearing down on you. You got a bunch of guys flanking them who are fast and can play as well. And you got to find ways to do it. I think we screamed for how we screamed for what 4 tactical fouls last night, as we call them, where it's just like foul that dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and like not having to yell that here because Mirtu gets back and takes this ball off is great. He looked like he had fun last night. He did not look like he had fun in RSL for sure.
Yeah,
and I think again that is not all on him, and it hasn't all been on him since he's got here, because it's just looked like a weird fit because of the way that our roster is set up and the way that Nico wants to play. But you found a way to get him super engaged early into this game, and I think that's why you got plays like this at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. 78th minute here, Austin. This is kind of a continuation of that. Austin going the other way. It's like for the moment the game is wide open here. Has some tired legs. Like before we get the full gamut of subs, it was Guilherme Biru charging forward down the left. He slips Facu through towards the end line on that left side, and Torres crosses it to the head of Christian Ramirez, but Ramirez can't redirect it on frame. It goes out for a throw, and then Austin makes a pair of subs. Mikel Dessler is alive, and CJ Fodre also comes in for John Gallagher and Christian Ramirez. Also get a change on the other side. Hollingshead in for Palencia. Off the restart, Austin wins the ball back, and Duber plays CJ out wide left, and he turns quickly for a cross that is actually deflected by Ryan Hollingshead here, and that's what caused it to float to that far post and have to get poked over and out just for safekeeping by Hugo Lloris for a corner. And that corner's cleared to the top of the box, and Mirtu hits it off the volley into the middle of the south end. But again, like to your point that like his confidence grew as the game went on. And like, I have no problem with like, do I want him to put this one on frame? Yes, but very, very tough attempt here. And again, I want that aggression out of him because we don't have a ton of shots game after game.
Yep. And that belief that he's able to take that without hesitating, I'm for that. And yeah, not every shot's going to go in, not every shot's going to be on frame and look great, but having that belief and confidence in yourself, which we thought he had plenty of, once we got him, and has waned here a little bit. I'm totally fine with that. I thought we needed a John Bell sub a little earlier. Okay. And take that with a grain of Guilherme salt coming from me, for sure. But I do think we needed him a little earlier, particularly when he got that yellow. Just to want to have him in a situation where it's like, hey, we might have to take this dude out because he's past me. So I thought we needed that a little earlier. And then I thought with the possession breakdown, we had more opportunities to switch fields last night than we have in recent games. And we did a decent job of it, but I thought we needed it to happen a little bit more. And it particularly kind of falls off here in the second half. And as you said, this game kind of gets open here. And I got nervous about that because it's like, we don't want to play an open style free game with this team. We want it to be more controlled, particularly,
Blanco and Sun are still out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was a little nervous about that. I do want to say, because I don't think he has any highlights popping up here after this, but I do want to say Nico Duber-Sarski, good shift. A solid shift from him last night. You know what I mean? He's developing. We're having a conversation about there where, at the stadium, it's like, I want him to develop, but I also want to win games. My priority here is to get 3 points and everything like that. But, we understand the situation with the midfield, and we're going to talk about one guy who plays there.
I did note down in the 81st minute some oohs and ahs around the queue as Bouanga no-look back heel nutmeg Mikel Dessler on his first chance to defend individually. So it's like a little inauspicious start there for my boy, because I know there's multiple people in 123. When Dessler comes on, I stand up, I'm pumping my hands at a couple people I saw fucking laughing.
Yeah. Look, man, I love Dessler too.
He's my guy.
I've been thinking he's one of our best players since he's been here, but it was good to see him. Jokes aside, the name is done until he inevitably gets hurt again. But good to see him out there. Another type of dude that I was glad to bring on in this moment from the sub standpoint, because you are getting a bit slower version of Denny Bouanga and Son out there, but we understand his ability and his ability to impact the defensive side of the ball, Dessler, that is. So I was super happy to see him. Glad he's feeling better. Hopefully you get a start out of him once we go to Miami. Yeah.
When he gets in the box score in the 84th, reckless challenge against Segura that was a delayed yellow card, but was shown at the next dead ball to Dessler. And then after that stoppage in the 85th, LAFC now probing in possession. Ball ends up with Mark Delgado, who has the space in front of him and takes it. Nobody steps to him, and he places one, a shot that is near perfect to that far top corner, and pings the shot off the crossbar. It comes back into the field of play where Dessler chests it back to Stuver to stifle the threat. But goddamn, man, this is one of a handful of opportunities that LAFC had late on here that almost heartbreak for everybody there.
And we talked about with the first game, right? 1 lapse versus Minnesota, and you go from 3 points to 1 point. This was a potential where you're having a lapse because we're just dropping back. I don't know what Basard Savovic is doing here. I don't know what most of the defensive unit is doing here, but everyone is kind of backtracking. Someone has to communicate that they're going up there to get the ball. Delgado has multiple screamers from that distance already this year.
I was going to say, I hope you guys been watching film because these are the only goals he scored.
Yeah, exactly. And like he's got Stuver beat on this shot, and we just got fortunate that the woodwork is right there and this pings off. But this type of lapse, man, when you played otherwise a very solid 90 minutes of soccer, can doom you and lead to that type of heartbreak. And it just sucks that we have to bring Basard Savovic in because we're not healthy. It just sucks. Like, it's brutal.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, again, it's like with anybody else that we've bitch moaned and complained about individual performances. Like, you got to give us something, and Savovic, there's just he'll foul a guy.
I don't know if
everybody can do that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've been more frustrated with anyone than I am with this dude. Yeah, like the big names pop up, Redis, Rigoni, things like that. Sometimes Johan or whatever, but like.
At least, Johan was lovable enough where he had a nickname from us.
Yeah, for sure. We might have to call him this dude the Punisher as well because he just punishes me all the time with this nonsense, bro. It's just fucking ridiculous.
We haven't even gotten to this. Is the next play.
Go ahead.
Dessler chested back to Stuver, right? So threat eliminated. Not for long, because this is where for the third time in the night, Austin passes it directly to Heung-min Son. And this time it is Savovic who's trying to drop it back to Heinzike, but just not nearly enough juice on it. And Son takes off, just outruns Fatak and BHI straight in on Stuver. And big credit to both center backs here for not giving up on the play, but especially Heinzike for the tackle he puts in here to prevent Son from even getting a shot off. And Heinzike and Fatak both stood out last night. I think Fatak, again, absent the own goal debacle in the last match, has been awesome this year. And Heinzike isn't far behind, and Heinzike was the standout last night.
Yes, I agree. And I wanted to say, because I did give those flowers to Dubrasarski, that I thought that the trio of him, Svatak, and BHI were 3 of the best players on the field last night that impacted the game in really important ways. But holy shit, man, can we just not do this?
Yeah.
He's not even getting pressured that much.
No.
And he just fucking lollygagged this ball back with one of the fastest dudes in the league sitting right on it. And it's just pushing his momentum right towards fucking Stuver while the 2 center backs are going the other way. Yeah. This is impossible. And if you had lost this game on this moment, then I would Kip Keller this dude myself. You know what I mean? I'm calling.
We got that
El
other
Paso.
buyout, dude.
I'm calling El Paso.
Windows open for 4 more days.
Yeah, hitting a GoFundMe. We got to pay to get this fucking dude out of Austin. Holy shit, man! And it's not even you're not tired. You have mentally.
Yeah, just came on.
You should be in this game. You should be acute, aware of what's happening, your surroundings, your basic surroundings. This is unbelievable, dude. It's crazy. And you look back at this game, and it's like you said, 3 times where we're just giving the ball to one of the most dangerous players in the league, begging him to get his first goal of the season on us. So I think my quote was about this was this is like setting your own house on fire and then asking for a reward because you fucking put the fire out by yourself. It's just I can't be too excited about the BHI play, which was a fantastic play in regard to the timing of that tackle. But good God. That's that one meme where you're riding the bike and you stick the stick into the spokes. You crash and you're like, who did this?
Yeah.
Basard Savovic did.
Well, and just to be fair to everybody who was guilty last night. The first time, which was the least egregious of the three, was Joseph Rosales just dribbling right into Son's path and letting him take off with it in that first half. So getting back here to close this one out, 88th minute, you get the final sub for Austin, John Kolmanich coming in for Nico Dubersarski. And then in stoppage time, 6 minutes of stoppage were shown in the second half. And in the 4th minute of stoppage, Austin now probing the LAFC final third, where Rosales has a wide open Dessler ready to run into space on the right side of the area. But instead, Joe pulls it back to his left and fires a shot that's blocked away by Choinier. Austin retains possession. I remember very vividly in the stands being like, why did we not pass this to Dessler? Wide open, running in there. But we retain the ball here. Rosales pings a quick pass to Kolmanich, who squares it centrally to Mirtu. Mirtu lets it run through onto his right foot and then whirls around Porches back to his left before uncorking this just curling shot that we just saw a Hugo Lloris wind back the clock, punches this up and over at full stretch, not quite upper 90, but I think this is a great shot. And an elite save. Sometimes we say good shot, great. This is a great shot, elite save, in my opinion.
Absolutely, it is. I'll jump to the Joe Rosales play with Dessler over there. In the moment, I was like, okay, I like this attempt. But then on the rewatch today, I was just like, you got to get that ball out wide.
Yeah.
You got to get that ball out wide because it's pretty condensed there in the LAFC defensive formation, and also as we see from this upcoming same for Lloris, this would have been a difficult area to beat him with, a dude who has not given up a goal all season. This attempt by Mirtu is the best shot he's had in his Austin FC tenure. This was a fantastic shot. This is a great play, and again, a testament to I got my swagger back. You know what I mean? He's getting it a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny after he did score that corner kick goal. You see him did the LeBron.
Yeah. So, and I think what that is because he did that on his first. I think the first.
It's the LeBron. Okay.
All right. I think what he's doing, because I've seen people write, poking some fun. It's like, okay, like you bounce that first goal in off your chest and you put the crown on. I think for the record, I believe Robert Taylor crowned him first on that first celebration. Then he does it again last night. I saw somebody point out a few weeks ago, and this is what I'm leaning into with this celebration, that it's not the king, I'm the king celebration. He's no stolen LeBron valor here.
Okay, good.
I think it's because his son is named Prince.
Oh, okay. Cool. It's LeBron. Elite save by Lloris here. This is a great attempt. And again, the confidence, it showed up last night because this dude was engaged all night long. He was active. And man, just like if we could have, just like how we avoided disaster, if you could have buried this one, like we said, we would have walked out of there salsa dancing.
Yeah.
I would have been doing some Albanian shit.
Learning that dance.
I don't know what they do, but
we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Oh man, I would have loved this for him. This would have taken all the narrative out of everything.
Well, it would put the cherry on top of what is probably one of, if not the most complete game he's played in an Austin FC uniform. And I know the broadcast team was talking about the best we've seen out of him this year. It's like, no shit, dude. Talk about how about of all time? Yeah.
I mean, and look, this was a bit of a formula and a way to figure out how to get him more involved. And you gotta see this through if you're the coaching staff. You gotta find ways to get this dude touches and make sure that he's active and engaged in these games.
Yeah.
And it'll help once
his little asses. What's that?
It will really help once Owen's there.
You would think.
Yeah. The balls coming off Owen's foot are just completely different level than they're coming off from Duber and Ilya.
Hey man, you leave Savovich out of there. You see how he set Son up last night?
Yeah, that's his best pass he's made since he arrived here. Holy Christ.
So closing this one out, 5th minute of stoppage time. It's another impressive Azuni run to chase down Denny Bouanga here. And then Azuni makes a tackle to win that loose ball off another LAFC player, hops up, drives forward. As he makes it into the LAFC half, he passes it towards Rosales. He's taken out. Advantage is played. Rosales plays the ball in behind for Guilherme Biru, who just can't quite corral this one to get a shot attempt off. He drops it back to Rosales, who cuts back on Segura. Looked like he pulled his hamstring. Apparently it was cramps, so that's good. Great news.
Fantastic news.
Maybe some of the best news on the night. And I think even after that, dude, like I would love it if he didn't play in that Honduras friendly next week.
Yeah.
Because like if that game's for nothing, like get all of our games are for something. So
Yeah.
But that closes it out, man, and a 0-0 draw.
Hey, a great point. I will say that this was a very, very good point. I was satisfied with it. Once we hit about the 75th minute mark, I was like, okay, let's start playing for the draw here. You got up to that point in the game where it's just like you've sustained all this, you've played well. Let's get to this 0-0 draw, and I'll be happy about it. I do want to jump one more thing, just way back to the first half. It kind of highlights, the Mirtu stuff swirling around, whatever, his engagement in this game. There was a play, I can't remember, might have drawn a corner kick in the first half, but he looks to the north end and he gives us one of these.
Yeah.
Go on and get up. And you got a hell yeah out of me for it. You got a hell yeah out of me for it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was very encouraged by the play that happened right before he did that motion. And so I stood up and started clapping. I was the only one in the north end that responded that way to it.
I was going to say, got a hell yeah out of me for that cheer. And I was looking at it and I was like, damn, not a lot of people felt that. But I did. And like,
I did as well.
With me and it hit. And it was, I appreciated that. So if he does listen, hopefully he doesn't turn it off before that part.
62% possession for Austin at the end of this one. It was 12 shots to 10 in favor of LAFC, but just one shot on target apiece in this game. 5 corners to 4 in favor of Austin, and Austin created just one big chance and missed it. A little bit of a funky XG thing here going on FotMob's Model E. The XG tally 0.98 for Austin, 1.35 for LAFC. That's not where I'm confused. There is a 0.08 expected goals on target for LAFC and 0.1 for Austin. And if you click on Mirtu's shot, it's 0.72 expected goals on target. So that is not an accurate figure there. But I think it's just 0.72. That was the only shot on target. So, but again, like also great shot, elite save. I think that at least by the numbers there, by the FotMob model, kind of proves that take.
Yeah, that sums that up perfectly. Great shot, elite save. Again, man, super, super proud of these dudes last night. They came to play, and we were talking with the Pirates out there and like wanting to be engaged in this matchup and just coming out there and like fighting and battling. And you brought it up as well in the last episode that this is a prideful group praying in front of their home fans and everything. And you saw that. And I thought the energy in the stadium, which there was a palpable kind of LAFC. This is an LAFC matchup. There's plenty of LAFC Sun fans around. It's rocking. You know what I mean? We had the game on Fox and everything. It was fun. There was a lot of energy in there. I think that helped out with the dudes. And they played a very, 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 very good team. Very tough. And I think if you play this game out, right, like 10 times, I think Austin wins 6. You know what I mean? Maybe 5. You know what I mean? Like if you give Son that breakaway 10 times, he's gonna score. Quite a few 5. Of those. Yeah. So but I do think that if you play this game multiple times, I think Austin would have come out on top more often than not. And I think that's something to tip your hat to, and a little bit of a positive momentum building as you go to play in some random stadium in Florida in 2 weeks.
If you play that game out 10 times, how many times do you think Eddie Segura has shown red?
Well, 0, given that it's us versus LAFC.
And I also wanted to draw attention to some confusion I had with the ASA charts here. Of course, courtesy of the MLS Stat Blue Sky account. 11 shots on target, according to ASA. So I don't know what the fuck is going on there. But that is clearly not correct. So the North End game score, right? For those unfamiliar, it's just an average of the numeric reactions between when we tag our Discord channel of Patreon members and when we record the recap episode. Our Patreon members list from 1 being the worst to 5 being the best, how they feel about the previous match. So we're, of course, tracking these as the season progresses. A late vote right before we recorded, took this one up to an even 4. On the night. So again, like for those who haven't been tuned in week in and week out here early in the season, our previous high was the DC win 1-0 at home. That was a 3.27 game score. The low on the season is that Charlotte match with the red card, 2.19. RSL slight increase there, 2.38, but all the way up to a 4 for LAFC. For a game you did not score in, I think, again, shows that of course, I'm going to do a mini victory lap on this because I can try to squeeze it in, but like, I think that kind of proves that the sentiments were lower than than where the reality was for this team. Because for a 0-0 draw that we're getting, I don't even know if we've had any 5 votes yet this season, and you get multiple of them on last night's game. And like, I will also say to our beloved Patreon members who were having some lively discussions about what vote should, qualify here, or what rubric we should use, is like, it's all subjective. Everybody gets to vote how they want in the North End game score activity. And you're all 5s in my book.
Good Lord, landed on thick. It was a 4 for me, right? I'm not going 5 because you didn't win the game. I think that has to be a prerequisite where it's like, I want to win.
For your 5. Personal rubric there.
But for the way this game was set up, and let me jump back. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself. Okay. With the sentiment thing, because I know that you've been riding high on that a little bit here. I think that baked into that a little bit was that we really anticipated some rotation. And when you did not get that, and then like the sentiment was still like, oh, fuck. I mean, I think you even said a couple times, hey, I want to change my score.
I did. Well, if I had the opportunity, I would have said 1-1 draw instead of 2-1 loss.
Yeah,
2-1 win.
Yeah. So I think that played into it. But yes, but like particularly the way the team looked versus RSL, and that we got all of these confusing kind of out of nowhere formational changes from Nico left people wondering like, hey, well, what's this team's identity here? So I get all of that. But it was a 4 for me. This is a really, really good point. This is a really, really good team that you played. You played them tough, and I think more times than not, you would have won this game. And I was really, really proud of the performance from a lot of guys, particularly the defensive side of the ball. And that starts with Fatak, BHI, Stuver, Duber. I got some good stuff out of them. Joe, once again, a solid effort. I thought Faku, fine performance. You know what I mean? I think he's another guy. We got to try to find a way to get the ball on his foot a little bit more, but I thought he was fine for his time out there.
So talking about some of what Nico mentioned in the post-game presser, I mean, he kind of started out by talking about how good LAFC has been. I think he was responding to Phil opening the questions as usual, saying like, look, man, like that's a team that I believe just set the record for the longest shutout streak. Maybe, I don't think in league history, but I know it is a record to start the season, right? With 5 clean sheets. And also said he thinks we deserve to win that game, and I'm not going to push back. I think either team could have won that game, but I think Austin was the better team on the night, all things considered. And of course, he had big praise for Mirtu, but then also Faku and Rosales, and he did confirm that those latter 2 guys were cramping at the end of the game. So again, because we cannot take on any more injuries going into the international break or not.
No, absolutely not. I don't know if I would say deserved to win, but you could have won this game. Absolutely. Sure. It was there. You had a chance. You could have won this game. And again, this is just a team, like we talk about the quality of this club. Steamrolling Miami to open up the season, advancing in CONCACAF in some tough matchups, taking care of all that, and still not having given up a goal all season long. So like this is the premier team in the Western Conference. You know what I mean? Like there's obviously a tier of those teams up there, but this is the club. So you've played them tough, and we talked about Austin has played them tough in regular season matchups. That these are the type of games that Austin has found a way to get points out of, and I'm incredibly happy about that. And I'd imagine Danny Pereira is too.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Austin has not lost in regular season play to LAFC since October 2023.
And that's something, you know what I mean? Like, I understand like that there's been plenty of times where they've had international break. We have had that shit as well, but that is something.
There's no other team in the league, I imagine. And I could go, if I have the time to fuck around like this week, maybe I'll go look. There's no team that has a 5-game unbeaten streak against LAFC right now in league play. I don't, because again, like, we lost in the playoffs, we lost the League's Cup match to them in the knockout stage, but like, I just think that's an impressive streak to be on as a club, given that LAFC has been up here that entire time and we've been mostly down here.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. And that League's Cup matchup was bullshit because we had to go play in their stadium, even though we won our fucking group.
Fuck that.
That was ridiculous.
One quote that I did enjoy from Coach last night is he said, "This should be the standard of how we have to perform. This is what I told the players. This should be our standard. And from there, believe like we have a good roster and a good team. And if we improve certain things, I think we're going to be really good this year." And like, I fully agree with him because I think we said at the start of the season, I have not changed from that stance that if this team ever gets fully healthy, I think they're a top 5 team in the West. They're not number 1.
Nope.
But I think they can be top 5 if they have all their guys together and working. And like last night was a very encouraging data point, towards that. And getting this break, man, where we don't have a game next week is awesome. Because as Coach also pointed out last night, when we come back, if you advance in the Open Cup until the World Cup break, we have double game weeks until the World Cup break when we come back. Yeah, Christ. It could be really brutal from a schedule standpoint. And again, even that much more important to get these guys healthy and to keep the guys who are playing right now also on the field.
Yes, this is going to be a nice little break for the team here. And I like that. I like that sentiment. I like that statement. And it's part of the reason why I was so confused at the approach versus RSL, because that looked like an approach from a coach who didn't really believe in his team and didn't really believe their team was that good. You know what I mean? Like the way that we played that game and the way that we lined up and the way that we approached that, I thought was counterintuitive to the things that he's saying right now. And I'm still in that camp. I know we have a listener question coming up here that does, relate to all of this stuff. Yeah. I got to see this team fully healthy. I have to see it first. I want to know what it looks like because I do think that there is a potential there for you to be a quality team in this Western Conference that is absolutely loaded.
Yeah. Well, and the last thing I wanted to talk about that Coach spoke on in that presser was, kind of got a little bit more into the Jaden Nelson situation. That's where I kind of picked up, like, it sounds like it's maybe back spasms. And again, he did not come out and say this outright, but my interpretation of what he was saying was that the absence last night for Jaden Nelson was precautionary. He mentioned that they talked to the Canadian national team. He's not getting called up here this week so he can continue to rest and getting him that extra rest by not trying to push it last night. He said it really starts to bother him when he's sprinting at full speed, and it's kind of what Jaden Nelson needs to do out there on the soccer field. So I'm reading this as at least available off the bench for Miami. But again, it's also been a fool's errand to try to predict how our injury report's going to look week to week this season. But I feel better about the Jaden Nelson situation given how Coach talked about it post game compared to when I heard it first on Thursday.
Fair. Yeah. I just hope everything goes well with that. Got to get some treatment. Hopefully, there's nothing too serious going on because like you said, we need that speed aspect. And that was one thing that was super lacking last night, that we did not have any speed to kind of take the top off of that defense, which was sitting pretty compact, particularly to start that game. So I think we missed Jaden for sure. So I'm wishing him the best. And again, just adding to the list of guys that we need out there.
We'll close out today's episode with a listener question from our guy, the Ribbinator.
The Ribbinator.
And Adam says, I'm 20% Nico out at this point of the season. He needs to show us results before the World Cup break. Having 8 weeks off in the middle of the season to reboot is just too big of an opportunity to pass on if we are not above the playoff line come May 23rd. And so his question to us was, do you agree with my sense of urgency about the coaching situation, given the huge amount of investment in transfers since Roto started running things? I'll let you start.
I don't. And that comes down to this team's health. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're bringing a new coach in here. Like, what's he going to do? Make these guys better as Mooch gets up there? I'm not on board with that right now. We have to get healthy, and that has nothing to do with coach right now. And I went in on him, I think rightfully so, for the RSL prep and then performance on top of that. But I think largely, if you take away the Mendoza conspiracy, this team has played very solid soccer for the majority of this season right now. And obviously the RSL was a stinker and outside of that. But I am not at a point where I'm urgently thinking like, how are we going to replace this guy, particularly if it's not looking good? Now, further context provided, you start going out there getting your ass whooped all the time. You lose the locker room. Sure, we can revisit it. But the biggest hurdle right now, the biggest obstacle is getting healthy. We're missing our best players. Like literally our best fucking players are not playing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I differ too much from you. I don't think anybody is off base right now for thinking that the summer window is that opportunity. For me, if Roto has somebody in mind to replace Nico Estevez as the coach going forward, if you are already at a point where you're not going to pick up that reported option that we have on coach's contract and that he's going to be gone at the end of the year, if you have the right person or the person that you want, right, going forward with this team that's not Nico, and that person is willing and available to come over in the summer, then fine. Mm-hmm. But again, it comes back to me, like with where we sit right now, I just don't think the way of what my vision of a successful franchise is among almost any sport does not fire their coach right now, given the situation. But again, like you said, and like with almost anything, how we treat things here in the North End is with further context provided, we reserve the right to change that opinion. Mm-hmm. But I am 0% Nico out right now. And that is even, again, like on the heels of last week. I was arguing with some of our friends about that earlier this week who are more on that Nico out train. And like, Adam is not alone in that thought right now. And again, I don't think it's crazy. It's just not where I'm at and not how I would operate at this time if I was the front office.
Yeah, gotta get healthy. Gotta get healthy, man. And like this season's going to be such a weird one. Like particularly coming out after that break, there's a ton of games left after that. You know, I mean, we got a long
20.
Yeah, there's a long ways
to
go.
Leagues Cup, Jesus.
So it's going to be a long season for sure. And I'm just not there. I want to keep building continuity. I think that we've seen some stuff from Nico transitioning from last season into the offseason now into this season where it's like, okay, that looks a little better to me. That looks a little more front-facing. That looks a little more creative. We've talked about some of the creativity stuff earlier in the season. So I am not there unless you have some, genius mastermind.
Right. I mean, if fucking Pep wants to come hook back up with Roto, then all right, let's do it. But, anything else for you, man, before we shut it down?
Great point. I think that the sentiment around the fan base is also pretty much leaning to that, as we saw from the game score there and everything like that. Very good point. Let's get to this break. Let's get a little healthier. Let's go see if we can make some noise in Miami.
Yeah, an encouraging way, I think, to head into the break. And with the team taking that international break, we will take one as well. So no midweek episode here in the North End, but we'll be back on Sunday, potentially a little bit of an abbreviated episode, depending on how much news comes in this week. But want to talk second team as well, and of course the nonsense. And then we will be back on our regular schedule. Holy cow. I'm literally just thinking about the marathon of our schedules with midweek games for 8 weeks straight, dude. You looking forward to it?
No.
All right, everybody. Regardless, we appreciate you tuning in, sticking with us here on episode 293 of the North End Podcast. Like I mentioned, we are back next Sunday, recapping the week that was in the Austin FC universe. So enjoy your week, everybody. We'll do the same, and we'll see you back here on Sunday for another episode. Until then, he is E, and I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.